Hi, my name's Rebecca Stambridge and welcome to Contented Mind TV. I'm the founder of Contented Mind, which is a counselling and wellbeing service. I'm doing a video today on anxiety. I'm aware at the moment that anxiety is a real problem for a lot of people. It's something that, whilst working in mental health, I've always known is one of the biggest issues that people have and need help for. But also at the moment, with everything that's been going on with coronavirus, I'm sure that anxiety is through the roof. People that perhaps haven't experienced anxiety symptoms before are now for the first time, or people that have had anxiety before are maybe finding that their anxiety is increasing. So I'm going to do a video of my 5 steps to managing anxiety. I've used these with lots of clients, both one-to-one and in group, so hopefully they'll work for you. So the first thing to say, that one of the reasons why it's so common with anxiety is that it's actually inbuilt in all of us. We are all prone to being anxious because it's how our bodies work. It's how we've been evolved. Anxiety is actually trying to protect you against a threat. And I know it's not very pleasant and it's annoying and unhelpful, but we've evolved this way. It's part of our fight and flight system. So when we were living in caves, in Stone Age times, the way that we were able to survive and evolve was by reacting biologically to some kind of physical threat. So everything that's going on with you, with like heart beating, you're feeling breathlessness, muscles getting tense, all that kind of thing, these are biological, involuntary biological responses. There's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You can't help this, but it's just how you are reacting to stress at that moment in time. So the first step is to be aware that this is normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just part of our fight and flight system. You're not going to die, you're not going mad, you're not going to have a heart attack. So normalising these reactions, knowing that what's going on, can be the first helpful step in managing anxiety. Number 2 in my 5-step approach to manage anxiety is to breathe better. So what this means is that finding a way to breathe more helpfully and more slowly so that you can calm the fight and flight system down. So the reason why breath is so important is because when that fight and flight system is triggered, it sets off within us something known as a sympathetic nervous system. So that means that we breathe in a shallow way, and then that triggers all sorts of things like anxious thoughts, breathlessness, muscles being tense, all that kind of thing. So in order to reverse that, we can work directly with the breath and calm it down, just to see if we can help to feel more relaxed in that moment. It doesn't always make the anxiety go away, but it can take the edge off a little bit. So we have to trigger the parasympathetic breathing system, which would reverse the fight and flight. Now, I'm not going to go into too much breathing techniques today because there's loads of information online and there's all different ones that you can try. And there's some on my website, contentedmind.uk. There's things like diaphragm breathing, box breathing, 7-11 breathing, all sorts of things. So it's important to find the one that's right for you to slow your breathing down. Now, the next step, step 3, in my 5-step plan to managing anxiety, is the big C word, which is compassion. Now, for a lot of people, compassion is something that you're sort of unfamiliar with, or it can be a bit off-putting, and many people think of kindness, which may seem a bit wishy-washy, a bit weak. When you're in the throes of an anxiety panic attack, you might be thinking, well, what's kindness? How's kindness going to help me? But actually, compassion has a really strong scientific basis, because the more compassionate we are to ourselves, the more we regulate that threat, fight and flight. And that's, again, there's an evolutionary scientific reason for that. And there'll be more information online about that because I've not got too much time to go into at the moment. I'll be probably doing another blog or vlog on this later. But we need to try and be kind and compassionate to ourselves, and that means trying to soothe ourselves. Say what you would say to a friend, something like, it's okay, you're not doing anything wrong, or, you know, you're safe, everything's going to be okay right now. Something which makes you feel calm, soothing and compassionate to yourselves. Depending on what is causing you anxiety or stress, you might want to say it's okay, you're doing the best you can. Try to generate feelings of warmth and compassion and kindness to yourself. Step 4 in my plan for managing anxiety is to accept and allow the anxiety. So this can be quite counterproductive, because obviously we're experiencing unpleasant feelings, things like dread in the chest, worrying thoughts. The more we try and push that away, the more we want to avoid those symptoms, the worse they seem to get. And that's because we're fighting fear with fear. And the opposite is what is most useful, even though that's counterintuitive. We need to try and get a little bit closer to what we're feeling. We need to try and accept what is going on and allow what is going on. So this might be, for example, that feeling of dread in your chest. Rather than not wanting it to be there, see if you can locate it physically as a feeling. See if you can sit with it for a few moments. What can often happen with people that practice this is that they then notice that the feelings start to dissipate, or they become more tolerable, and sometimes they even disappear. There's more information on how to do that on my website. And then the final, step 5 in my approach to managing anxiety, is to try and take a little bit of perspective with your thoughts. So for many people, it's how we think can trigger our anxiety. So we might be having thoughts like, what if something happens, or making assumptions that something bad is going to happen, or somebody's talking about you. And it's those thoughts that can really affect how we feel. So it can be useful to challenge those thoughts. Are there different ways you can look at things, or use a bit of mindfulness to let go, notice the thoughts and try to redirect your attention. So hopefully you find my 5-step plan to managing anxiety useful. Each step requires quite a lot more, maybe research or reading. I have more information about this on my website, or it might be that you find information online. So hopefully you found today useful. I know it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but maybe it'll be a bit of a start helping you to self-manage your anxiety. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.